Hi guys, Dorothy here. I'm a professional astrologer and you can find me on the web nhastrologer.com, especially if any of the things I talk about here today inspire you to know, well, what does that mean for me? You know how to get a hold of me, nhastrologer.com, and we can have a conversation about that for you to make it even more personal. But today, the forecast, like I always like to do, it's a general overview for everybody. It is not speaking to any specific zodiac sign. These are the aspects that are going on for everybody in the world, and this is my interpretation about how I see what's going on. And we're all going to individually work with these things differently, but it still gives you a heads up. This is how we use astrology. It gives you a heads up as to what you can anticipate the energies out in the world and even internally that all of us are dealing with and having to manage, okay? So let me get started and don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back, guys. Thank you for joining me here today. First, let's start off with, we do have few powerful aspects going on in the middle of this week. But let's start with Monday the 11th. On the 11th and into Tuesday, actually, the 11th and the 12th, Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to roll all these two together. The moon's in Taurus. When the moon's in Taurus, exalted in this sign, which means it loves to be in this sign, making aspects in that full sign to every planet out there. And what it represents is us working through what it is we love, what it is we value. We're looking for those comforts in life. So Monday night and Tuesday is easy energy for us to just get settled into what feels comfortable, what is beautiful. If you're creative and artistic, this is a wonderful time to do that. If you're a good cook or love to experiment in cooking, Monday night and Tuesday, great days to explore all of those things, wherever you are creative, all right? And even some people, Taurus is about beautiful things. Some people might feel like doing a little shopping therapy Monday night or Tuesday. This also, if Valentine's is something that's important to you, and this is the actual day this week that I recommend that you go out with your sweetie and celebrate however you like to celebrate. This is a much more, Monday night especially, is a much better opportunity with the lunar cycle, the lunar sign, and all the other aspects going on. Much better than the actual day of February 14th to have a really comfortable, fun, really meaningful evening. All right, so just keep that in mind if that's part of your life, if that matters to you. All right, so the big news, let's move on. I'm going to back up to Tuesday, but in a minute, so keep taking notes. And by the way, all of this is written out in, not word for word, because I already wrote it out to get it straight in my head, and now I'm just talking about what I remember I wrote. So you're going to get new information here, and you're going to get additional information if you read the forecast. So that is on my Facebook page and notes, and you're also going to find it on my website, nhastrologer.com, in the forecast. Click on the forecast tab, okay? And you can go read this. That's where all the weekly forecasts are. So moving to Wednesday the 13th, this is the day on the East Coast of the United States at 1:21 a.m. This is when Mars makes its conjunction to Uranus at the final degree of Aries. Now, if you're on the West Coast, it is Tuesday night, the 12th at 10:21. So adjust to where you live in your time zone, all right? So when we have Mars and Uranus conjunct, they do this, Mars goes around and it does it just about every 2 years, a little bit off on 2 years. 2 years plus a couple of weeks. It does this every 2 years. Now, in the sign of Aries. So what does all of that mean? It's already happened 4 times. I have the dates in the written forecast. Okay, you can go check those out. When Mars is in Aries, it is about being inspired and just taking action. We really don't think things through, which can be good and maybe not so good. But it's like trying to chase a 2-year-old around. They're just so inspired and challenging, but they're inspiring too, because they're just like picking up one thing and just so enlightened and so inspired by what they're looking at, and then they're off to do something else and off to do something else. Attention span is really short, but we're learning a lot of new things about what inspires us. Mars in Aries, taking action. That's what that energy is. Now, when he comes and makes his connection to Uranus in the sign of Aries, final degree, we're feeling a sense of urgency, like we might be missing something. Now, if you're somebody who's already using this, then you're just highly motivated and you just keep going with that. Don't be too concerned. But some of us who are feeling stuck and having a hard time with motivation, when we're feeling it internally, like, why am I not going anywhere? Why am I not motivated? Why can't I make a choice? When these two energies come together and make that conjunction, it really is a moment of enlightenment and when things will finally open up for us. One of the important things to do to see how you might respond to this is to look at the other 4 dates, which again are in the written forecast, as to what was going on back then. So all the way back to 2011 is when it first started at 1 degree of Aries. It was in April sometime 2011. Again, specific dates are in the written forecast. You look back to those dates and try and figure out what it is you were working on and what you began. Because this moment, this is the final time Mars and Uranus will be conjunct in Aries. It's going to be 84 more years before this happens. And so, or 85 or 86. I didn't look at it. But it takes Uranus 84 years to come around, so it won't be in this sign again for a long time. So be motivated. Where are you motivated? Look at those past dates that are in that forecast and figure out what it is you need to do now. So hopefully you're watching this early. I'm putting this up a few days ahead, a week ahead almost, so you're able to do that research for yourself. These are really important things to do. It's really good for us because Mars-Uranus conjunction like this will motivate us and move us out of our ruts and move us out of these areas that we've just been feeling really stuck on for a very long time. All right. Sometimes that feels good and sometimes it doesn't. There's no glazing this over. Okay, so if you're feeling super stuck, then something uncomfortable could happen, or you can just have that moment of enlightenment. That's what the Uranus and Aries with Mars there is all about. Okay, all right, let's move on to what is next. On the 13th, the moon also enters the sign of Gemini for the next couple of days. This means there is a lot of conversation going on. So if this Mars-Uranus did anything to stir up uncomfortable feelings, the moon in Gemini for the 13th, 14th, and part of only early in the morning on the 15th, Friday, we have opportunity to really talk things out. When the moon is in that sign, that's what we do. We obviously be very feeling, but when we have something, when we're feeling something, we want to talk it out. And that's that moon in Gemini for the next 2.5 days. So that's really helpful too. So we're able to really get that out. Now I want to move on to Thursday, the 14th. The big news of the day that I want to focus on, Mars enters the sign of Taurus. And that's at 5:51 in the morning. It's going to be in the sign for the next 7 weeks. But I want to focus on that moment that Mars enters the sign of Taurus, because I want you to look back to May 15th. Last year on May 15th, 2018, Uranus entered the sign of Taurus. And he went forward and he went back into Aries. He's still in Aries and he's going to go back into Taurus in another few weeks. If I could put parentheses around that, I would have. But right now, look at around the period of May 15th, because at May 15th, when Uranus entered the sign of Aries, a lot of things happened in the world. We had a lot of, I think Kilauea was blowing at that point in time. It had already started, but it was really shaking things up at that point. What in your life was erupting? What was coming to a head so you were able to see what's going on, to see where you weren't valuing something and something is now, you're now aware of what you need to value or what you want to value. Now, the reason I'm really focusing on this with Mars entering the sign of Taurus, this is motivation to work towards those things that really have value to us. This is also linked to 9 months ago, because 9 months ago on May 15th, we had the new moon. It was at 23 degrees of Taurus. Same day, Uranus entered Taurus, okay? On Tuesday, we have the first quarter moon. It's 9 months from the new moon at the same degree. Now, I mentioned this recently, a couple of weeks ago, when I did a forecast. I mentioned how every new moon starts a new 3-year cycle. This work is based off of my astrologer friend Dietrich Pessin, and she does the Lunar Shadows is the name of her book, and it talks all about how the new moon, and then it goes all the way from the new moon to the first quarter to the full moon to the third quarter back to the new moon, all within a very same degree of the zodiac. This is important. This first quarter moon is the same as the new moon on May 15th. At the same time, planet entered Taurus like we have today. So February 12th, February 14th, those 2 days are linked because of the lunar phase and Mars entering Taurus. What did you start back in May? What were you planting? What were you working on? Because now we should be able to see it. It's like planting seeds back in May 2018, planting some seeds, but you forgot to label them and you weren't sure what they were. So you planted them, you've been caring and nurturing for them. Some of them have come up and are like, for example, tomato. Excellent. So now there's a nice green bush, and you can even start to tell what type of plant that is, what type of tomato it is. Some of them are still wee, they didn't make it, pull them out, throw them away. So what we can see is like all the seeds that we planted, all the goals that we set, the intentions we put out right around May 15th, and the processes we were going through, we can now see the results of some of this. We're able to work with that energy and really start to continue to grow, because 9 months from now, from February, we will have the full moon at 23 degrees of Taurus, right there within 1 or 2 degrees, and then we'll really be able to see the culmination of everything that we've been working on. These are amazing, amazing cycles that go on behind the scenes. Most of us in doing these types of forecasts or sun sign astrology, we just don't get into that a whole lot. But it is a deeper piece of astrology that is just fascinating. And when we have transits, ingresses, which is like a planet entering a new sign at one of these lunar points, very important. So I want you to keep an eye on everything that's going on for you this week. Take notes. Keep a journal this week, even if you use a little calendar like one of these. This is Llewellyn Maynard. They all have great little calendars like that. Just write in a few things of what was going on to keep track. So years to come, you can look back and see what it was that you were working on. It's so important for us to see our own growth. So when we're in it, we don't always recognize it. So it's great to do that. And these are opportunities and periods right now to do that. So that is what we have for this whole week, all right? There's a lot of work going on, I get it. So when we're on Valentine's Day on the 14th, the moon in Gemini, a lot of talking, a lot of conversation, a lot of running around, but we could be feeling a little edgy because of things that have come up. So if you have things to work on within the confines or within the boundaries, I guess I would say, of your intimate personal relationships, then they are coming to the surface so you can have conversations and work through them, all right? Now, all right, let's move on. That was Wednesday and Thursday, the 13th and the 14th of February. Boy, that was kicking, wasn't it? And there's a lot going on there. All right, what is the theme for Friday and Saturday? Friday and Saturday, 15th and 16th, mainly is that the moon is in the sign of Cancer, so the moon will connect with the North Node, which is beautiful. And what we have going on with these is like, this is a period of caring and nurturing for ourselves. We need to learn how to do that. So especially if, only if, you have had a week that has been so energizing that you need some downtime. So if you don't have to work Friday and Saturday, just make sure you spend time at home, nesting, taking care of things, whatever it is for you that is your caring and nurturing comfort. All right, this is what we have for Friday and Saturday. Easy, calm, and relaxing. take care of yourself. It is very sensitive energy. The moon loves to be in her own sign of Cancer. Sensitive, but it's also like getting that big hug that you know you get that best hug from whomever is your friend that gives you the biggest, best hugs there ever are, or your mom, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That beautiful, yummy hugs that we all want to have and we all need, and that human contact. So keep an eye out. Edgy week a little bit for some people, but Friday, Saturday gives us that opportunity to smooth those rough edges. All right, finishing up on Sunday, the 17th, the moon enters the sign of Leo at 10:20 in the morning. And so what we can do with that is just lots of energy. When the moon's in a fire sign, we're active, we're passionate, we're creative, especially in the sign of Leo. So feel inspired. If you are feeling inspired, actually, I should say that better. If you are feeling inspired, go out and do something. Be creative. Do what makes you feel good. Do what is fun to you. And that is a really nice way to bookend this week. We start with Moon in Taurus, which is about what we value, what we love, and enjoying the sensual pleasures in life. And we end the week being passionate and creative and having a lot of fun. Inside that week, it's a bit active and edgy for some and exciting for others. So we have quite a unique week here. And I'm going to leave you with that. You know where to find me, nhastrologer.com. Please subscribe to my channel. Please comment. Keeping these things moving. It's just the social media thing that is important for me to keep doing what I do for you. Thank you very much, and blessings. Namaste.